Hey, Jim Dever here. A Seattle tradition is back for its 6th year. The Beatles cover band, Cream Tangerine, plays a free rooftop concert on the anniversary of the famous Fab Four rooftop concert of 1969. You can catch it tomorrow at noon at Pike Place Market. Now, the story of a Northwest man who was with the Beatles on that amazing day. Beatlemania sweeps America, and Ken Mansfield is there.
And we just hit it off.
The world's most famous band plays the world's most unusual concert. There's Ken.
For me personally, I think it's the most historical moment in rock and roll.
A long and winding road runs its course, and Ken is along for the ride.
We could see the end was coming.
An unlikely journey for a Northwest kid who somehow ended up in the Beatles' inner circle.
To come off the Indian reservation lands in northern Idaho and end up in London with the Beatles, that's a pretty strange trail.
In 1965, Ken was a promotion manager for Capitol, the Fab Four's U.S. record label.
Anytime a band came into L.A. and the West Coast area, it was my job to work with them.
The Beatles took an instant liking to their 27-year-old host and extended an
Tomorrow, why don't you come up to the house and hang out? So the second day with the Beatles, I'm around the pool just hanging, and Joan Baez swimming in the pool.
Ken says Beatle Paul was the businessman of the group.
Paul was the instigator of everything. Paul was the energy. Paul's the guy that kept things going.
And it was Paul who suggested an impromptu concert in 1969 that would become rock and roll legend.
And they said, well, we're going up on the roof.
The Beatles played till the Bobbies pulled the plug.
We told them what the deal was. They were kind of excited they got to be the ones in there. So they finally got to shut us down. So they did their job, and we got our footage, and they're in the film,
Ken stood next to Yoko Ono that day.
Yeah, well, we were just trying to keep warm together, I think.
He says her influence over her man, John Lennon, and the fate of the band has been exaggerated.
They give Yoko way too much credit for breaking up the Beatles.
Whatever it is that will please you, I'll do it.
What Ken saw were simply four dear friends growing up and growing apart, until a key business decision forced a split.
They couldn't agree on their personal manager, and that was something that was too important, and that was something that they just couldn't they could overcome the other stuff, but this was something that was too much at the heart of the band.
So John, Paul, George, and Ringo went their separate ways, but Ken kept in touch.
These were just old friends.
10 years after the breakup of the Beatles, Ken was cleaning up around the office when he dropped an old box.
And as it broke open, pictures of John Lennon were just laying on the floor, and it was like he was looking up at me, and I'm down on the floor picking up these pictures, and the phone rings.
John Lennon was dead.
All of us had lost something together, this great artist, and I think in some cases we lost what was going to come.
The dream was over far too soon.
They would have come back together at one time, no question about it. The friendships were extremely deep.
Ken Mansfield is happy to have spent some time at the center of the rock and roll universe, a time and a sound that will live forever.
I have nothing but good memories.
Thanks, Jimmy. Well, the Grammys are this weekend, so tomorrow night we are going inside the life of Macklemore with help from his friends, his colleagues, and the rapper himself. Straight ahead, though, it's Community and Parks and Rec. Good night from Northwest Film Forum.